Oh, there we go.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, I'm good. Can't complain at all. There we go.
Oh, I like your background. That's fancy. Let me start sharing this on Facebook.
Okay, great. Let me see if I could
So there's no specific questions you want me to ask. I just want to make sure. Because this could
Yeah,
go all the way left and I don't want it to. I'm just saying.
hey, listen. I'm here for the party.
Okay, cool. So most of the questions anyway are basically what you wrote for the magazine.
Oh,
And
okay.
then the rest, um, I'll just wing it like I always do, like my entire life. So it's what it is.
Wing it life. I know how it is. I know how it is.
Definitely. All right, give me a second. I'm trying to share this on Facebook.
Okay, sure. Ready for the holiday? Christmas?
No, not at all.
I don't think anybody ever is.
Nope, I'm always like the last minute one for the most part, but with Corona, obviously, definitely
Yeah, that kind of
switched
put a
up
hold on everything.
everything on me. So everybody's just gonna get money. Who don't like money? You know,
Hey, that's a good gift.
taking money, gift cards, whatever. Because I'm not traveling out in this pandemic. If I can't get it in by Amazon, then I'll just give them a gift card.
Yeah, just
That's it.
the easy
It's
way out.
yep, and it's the thought that counts. So they better be happy with it.
Too funny.
All right, hold on. Why my computer, I swear, always wants to act up in the weirdest times. Okay, here we go. This is what's happening. Got it. All right, so I'm gonna share to a few pages. I wonder if I can tag you, or maybe you. All right, share to my news feed. Yeah, because you're there. So I'll do that. And then I can just share to afterwards everywhere. How many inches of snow did you guys get?
16.
Ah, we got like
People out here act
22.
like it was you would have thought it was a damn Alaskan blizzard out here. These people, oh my God, it's 16 inches. We can't move. We can't breathe. I was
I was
like,
snowbound at my job. I'm like, that's why I was so backed up with everything. I
yeah,
have a home care business and I was with my clients and I literally could not leave. My entire truck was from head to toe covered. It was insane.
yeah. It was bad. We're not, for our first snowfall, we wasn't expecting it to be 16 inches. So it kind of hit us off guard. And it just, the people for our first snowfall, the people just were just not ready for that. And two of our trucks broke down the night of the snowfall, two of our snow cleaning trucks. So that put
Oh,
us
wow.
behind. Yeah, they broke down that night around like 2 in the morning.
Oh,
But they were
no.
back on the road by like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But that just took a lot of the extra streets that could have been paved away. Then on top of that, nobody wants to follow the parking uh, alternative parking rules and regulations. So you can't even plow a full street because it's somebody's car that's just in the middle of the way. So, but we alive. We survived. No casualties. No
Amen.
fatalities.
Hallelujah. No outages as far as
Yeah, no
like
power outages. And
good.
Contact kept in communication with us this time. It was good.
Definitely. All right, almost done. Okay, now go live. And then we'll just share from there.
There it goes.
All right. Let me get back to the Zoom so I can go to my page and share everywhere. Let me see.
There's more Zoom meetings than I think I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my gosh, I'm starting to become a pro at it, which is kind of scary because I never was a Zoom person and like never done it prior to this, but apparently now it's, the thing to do. Okay, we are live, hon.
All right. Good evening.
Hi, and welcome to Blessings Radio. Thank you so much for joining me. And
Absolutely.
we're doing a live on Facebook. So if you guys are watching, thank you for tuning in and make sure to share. We have the amazing Mayor Rainey of Peekskill, New York, joining us today. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me. I feel so
Thank you for
honored. I'm like,
having
oh my gosh, I get to. I was like boasting and bragging all week for like the past 2 weeks. And she said, yeah. Oh my God,
Thanks for having me. It feels good. I appreciate that. I appreciate the platform. Thank you,
oh my
sister.
gosh, thank you so much for joining us. So, real quick, tell our viewers and listeners a little bit about yourself. Introduce
All
yourself.
right, yeah. So, my name is Andre Rainey, proud mayor of the great city of Peekskill, serving my second term. Um, Born and raised in the city of Peekskill. My father was in the Air Force when I was young, so we lived in Germany for about 4 years, and he got stationed in Nellis Air Force Base in Las Vegas, Nevada. So I spent about 10, 11 years out there. Came back home, went to Peekskill High School, went to SUNY Mooresville College, moved down to Florida, started making music. And all in all, I came back home to Peekskill, New York. Got really, really involved in my community. I want to say about 2007, 2008, I got really, really interactive with the youth of my community more than ever. And then 2013, I ran for council. 2015, I ran for mayor. And 2020, this is where I'm at.
This is exactly where you are. Oh my goodness. So I had the honor of meeting you in person. You had a birthday bonanza, which was
Oh,
oh
gosh.
my gosh, it was so much fun. I'm like my
Yeah.
girlfriend Sheena Gordine. I met her like just recently too. We instantly clicked.
Oh,
And
that's what's up.
she's like, "Do you want to come to a mayor's ball?" I'm like, "What? Like seriously?" Can you imagine?
Right.
And it was so funny because I'm like, what do I wear? Like, it's like I don't know. I don't have like
Yeah,
nice, so
it's
fancy
funny.
setup.
When I
So
when I first got in office, I throw birthday parties for myself every year. This year is the first year in 12 years I'm not hosting an
I
event or
know.
party. So when I first got elected as mayor, a lot of people were saying, "Listen, you can't have parties anymore. You can't have events for your birthday anymore because you're a mayor now." I said, "They got the wrong one then."
I'm not that mayor.
Yeah, I'm celebrating my day,
I know
So
that's right.
yeah, but yeah, this was the first year in about 12 years I haven't had.
I know. And listen, I had a
Crazy.
whole wedding in COVID. It was bonanza, but I was like, COVID is not going to mess up my wedding day. I'm like, my wedding
Mhm.
day is 10/10, and it's going to be what it
Oh,
was.
congratulations! Look at
Thank
you.
you. I'm like, it's going to be what it's going to be, but I'm going to get married in the midst of chaos, and I did. Thank
There you
God.
go.
But
That's it.
all right,
Congratulations.
bringing it back, how was Germany? Like, that's a whole experience right there. Right?
Germany was great. I mean, I only remember most of it through pictures, but there's some highlights. I remember my father had a cuckoo clock. I loved the heck out of that. Yeah, every hour just come out cuckoo cuckoo. I love that. I miss that. My father was in the Air Force, so he had like a lot of airplane toys, and he had this one toy that he used to it was hung from the ceiling. You just push it, and it would just fly around in circles for hours, and that just kept
Oh,
my
so
attention
cool.
for a long time.
That was
Um,
probably droids.
yeah, right, right. One fond memory that my mother and father always talk about was when I was about 6 years old. My father was trying to teach me how to ride a bike without the training wheels, and he taught me how to ride and pedal, and I got it on point. And I was excited, and I decided I wanted to go down the hill. And there's a farm down the hill, but the area where you can see is where the chickens were. I got the balance on point, I got the handlebars on point, I got the pedaling on point. I didn't get the brakes,
It's gonna-
and never forget, laugh about it to this day. I ran right into where the chickens were, just crashed right into all of the chickens.
you ran into the chicken coop.
Ran to chicken coop. Ran to chicken. Yep, and they weren't chicken either. They didn't move. They just sat there like, "Come on with it."
They're like, who are you and why are you in our coop? What is going on? Like, I'm coming in here. I can tell you stories for days going down a hill. I'll keep it short. My first and last, thank God.
First and last.
Thanks to my brother, older brother, always likes to torture me, but he thought it was a great idea. I used to live in Amsterdam, and they are known for their
Nice.
crazy hills, right? So like steep hills. So we went down this one hill in a sleigh, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Ran into a car right into the bumper. Boom.
Oh
Cars on
God.
the road, went down the hill. I just hit the bumper straight. My head snapped back, and I was young.
Oh yeah, you was.
I was like 12 or 13, I can't remember. But all I remember is like, okay, my name is Jessica Castaneda. I live in so and so, so and so. Okay. My
The
mom beat
basics.
my brother's butt that night, like hard.
I believe it. I believe it.
Never again. That was the first and last time. I try to stay away from hills as much as possible. Definitely. But okay, so you are the mayor. When did you get elected? For the
So this is my second term. I was elected in 2018. I was elected for my first term in 2000. What is it? Right, 2021, so 21, 20, 19, 18. Yeah, and 17, 16. So 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21. Yeah, 2017 was the first time I was elected as mayor. Before that, 2015, I was elected as council.
okay,
I served 2 years on the council. Yeah, and I did 2 years for my first term as mayor, and now I'm reelected for my second term.
okay. So bring me to the council because I'm not a politician. I don't know anything about this. I'm
Yeah.
sure a lot of
So I was very involved. Like I said, I was always very involved in the community. I did a lot of things with the Youth Borough School District and the Kylie Center, especially fundraisers, programs, activities. They hired me at the Kylie Youth Center as an assistant program director, and that was like a dream job for me. Um, and it was just really good. And I had always done something for the community, especially the youth, for years. And then when I put out this song in 2010 called Peekskill My City, the local elected officials or the local Democrats had reached out to me to ask me if I wanted to run for office. I was like, nah, I don't really do politics, but I'll help however I can help. I helped any mayor you could think of. I tried to help one way or another if I supported them for sure publicly. Um, and then I had my son in 2013, so I wasn't really doing as much music anymore. I couldn't travel like I was, doing at first. So I was like, let me just get more involved in the community. And I did. And long story short, they had asked me, like I said, every year from like 2010 to about 2015 if I would run. And I said no. And then when I decided I was going to think about running, I was asking around like, yo, I might run. Would you support me if I ran? It's like, yeah, of course. So my predecessor now, him and a friend of his had came to the Kylie Center where I was working at. And they asked me if I was planning on running. I said, yeah, I'm thinking about it. And his friend literally told me to my face, if I ran, I had to run with him. And
wow.
if I didn't run with him, she was going to ruin me. So, I responded.
That
I
they
wasn't sure if I was going to run, but now I'm definitely running and I'm definitely running against him. And that's what motivated me to get into politics. I never really had, I can honestly say there's not a political body in my bone prior to me running for office. I didn't go to school for political science.
I
I
was
didn't study government. I didn't go to council meetings every Monday or anything. I do what I can for the kids. Everybody else leave me alone and I'll stay out your way. But when she threatened me, that was my motivation to get involved. And she's been trying to be like a headache. And it's really sad to see people who are so miserable that they think that their negativity affects you in a negative way.
like they said
So I
misery
remember
loves
when I
company.
first got elected, I had an interview with Verizon, and they had asked me when I ran for council. They said, do you ever see yourself running for mayor? And I said, as long as these people keep pissing me off, I'm gonna keep. I'll run for everything. Like just leave me alone. Let me contribute the way God wants me to contribute to the world, and I won't showboat. I won't try to go. I won't do anything. But if you challenge me, then to me that's God saying you got to do more. You
Show
got to
up and
do
show
more.
out.
You got to do this because He knows that that's what motivates me. I
Hmm.
like when people come at me sideways. That's just always been the thing for me. So, and that's how we got to where we are today.
It's like don't threaten me with a good time because I'm gonna show you a great time.
What?
Like what you can't, I can't do. Like I tell people all the time. I'm like, for anybody that tells you like you cannot do it just because. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like even it like you just did. Like I didn't want to, but since you said that I can't or you're gonna ruin me, let me show you
And
something
so,
real quick.
yeah, one of my favorite quotes. I actually have it hanging up in my office right now. It's a quote from Maya Angelou, and the quote is, "If you want me to do something, just tell me I can't do
Exactly. Boom.
it."
You
Yeah,
know what I
that's
mean?
one of my
That's
favorites.
my motivation right there. They're like, oh, you can't do this. You I said, who said I cannot? I said, if
Yeah,
my daddy, I call God my daddy. If my daddy said I
there
could
you
do it
go.
and he's gonna open these doors for me, guess what? I'm gonna do it all. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
listen. All I say is that whoever said I can't do it, tell them to get their video camera ready.
'Cause it's about to go down.
Get their video camera ready. We're going now.
Exactly. I'm gonna show you and prove you all the way wrong. Definitely. So I
Absolutely.
was gonna ask you, but you answered that. So you had no political background prior to this.
No, I
Wow.
couldn't. I couldn't. Like when I first got elected, even during the campaign, I was so illiterate to politics that I wasn't even, sure how to run a campaign. So when I told the local Dems that I was going to run, they were telling me like you got to do fundraisers and you got to create a campaign. And prepare yourself because they're going to say things about you that you probably wouldn't expect people to say. And my uncle Wendy called me and he said, if you do this, I love you, I'm support you, but you're going to hear things about you that aren't true. They're going to be things said about you that you didn't say. Just keep your composure. And I was at the time, I'm like the local rapper, like
Mhm.
anybody saying it about me,
We're gonna get there too. Exactly.
like come on, I'm Andre Rainey, I'm Noodle, like they know who I am, like this is easy. And that lady that I mentioned earlier, she put the first post up about me that I'd ever seen. I still got the screenshot on my phone to this day. And she said, this young man is gonna run for a council. He's probably gonna claim to be a youth advocate, but how can he be a youth advocate when he doesn't know his own father?
That's a damn shame.
Yeah, and that was the first post I'd ever seen as an attack
Wow.
towards me running for office. So there were some people who were like mentors to me. They're more like family now, but they were like mentors to me in this world because like they literally they read something on Facebook and they would text me, listen, there's something on Facebook about you. Do not engage in conversation and do not respond to it because it's simply put to get you to react in a
Hmm.
negative way. And you don't need any of these people poking at the giant to bring something out of you that we know doesn't live inside of you. So I said, okay, I ain't gonna say anything. Then I go on Facebook and read it, and it's like, why would I vote for Andre Rainey if he's a gangster rapper that smokes weed? And these
Wow.
fingers, like my heart heard them say, don't do it, but my fingers, they didn't listen. They was like,
Twitter fingers came out.
yeah, my fingers were like, "Yo, what are you talking about? I don't smoke weed. If I smoke weed, you smoke crack." And they're like, wait, whoa, yo, delete that comment. You can't write that. You're running for council. I'm like, well, she lied on me. That was my initial
Gloves
response to
come off. Exactly. Gloves come all the way off.
yeah, but now I look at it and as funny as it is that motivates me.
Yes.
I just didn't know how to channel my motivation. So when you attacked me, my motivation years ago was okay. Let me be witty. Let me respond sarcastically. Let me shut you down. Now it's okay. You're going to attack me. I'll just keep moving forward. I'll just
Dismiss
keep.
it. That's it. Because that's what they want to do. They want to get under your skin to make you react, to
Mhm.
show a side of a characteristic of you that doesn't even exist because they just trying to bring it out of you. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, and I get into little debates every once in a while. I had one maybe like 3 months, 3 4 months ago, and one guy was like, he's like, I said something about the activists. Some of the new activists, they're like to me, a lot of the new activists could be very misleading, and so I put a post about that. What's the difference between bad elected officials and misleading activists? And answer was nothing. They're the same. Bad elected officials and activists who are misleading, they're both bad. And some people were like, "How dare you attack activists?" It's like, oh, it wasn't at activists; it was misleading activists. So if you
Yeah,
took that,
that's a separate
be
category.
one of those people I'm talking about.
If you
You know,
feel
one guy
a
was
certain
like,
way,
well, Mayor, if you can't take the heat, get out the kitchen. And I'm like, you call this little Facebook post heat? Like, have you not read what I went through to get here? I
exactly. You
to
think
get
that's
here.
gonna even spark a fire at all?
Yeah,
That's
like I was like, and of course, again, I didn't respond. I just read the comment like this. If I can't take the heat, get out the kitchen. This is far from heat.
yeah, clearly. Like, do you even know
This
where it
little
came from? The
debate
things
on
I had to
Facebook.
go through.
Yeah, like I've been. I mean, there was lawsuits against my aunt because of politics, and there was
Oh my
my
God, seriously?
predecessor. Yeah, my middle daughter's mother hired my predecessor to try to get full custody of our daughter. Like this little Facebook post is not heat.
At all. Oh my God. Only because you ran for mayor and then they trying to come at you in all different avenues.
Yeah. When I saw him in the courtroom, I was like, oh wow, the losers are joined together. Like it was really an interesting experience. And even to this day, I still look at that situation like that, like all of this for politics. And people always say, yo, you're in politics, it's a dirty game. No, politics can be clean. It's dirty people are
Yeah,
the ones who get in politics. And if there
exactly.
were good people out there in politics, you wouldn't see half the stuff you see.
That's exactly
So I hate when people use that term, oh man, that's politics. It's not politics, that's people.
right.
Politics show who people really are.
Yep, because you get those dirty people in every kind of field there is. There's dirty people in healthcare, there's dirty people in
Oh
politics,
yeah,
there's
that's
dirty
that.
people in
Yeah,
business.
you ain't lying.
You know what I mean? There's
You
dirty people,
ain't lying. Yeah.
period. So you can't just jump them all together and say, oh, well, because you got so and so bad apples that the whole, field is dirty. It's not. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
just the
it's
dirty
scary.
people get more airplay, basically, because
Yeah, absolutely. And
people like them.
the scary thing about that to me is like these people, like a lot of like people like activists and social media people now, they just use like random quotes to push certain thoughts. So, you'll see people say stuff like, "Oh, that's just politics," and it's like that becomes the mind frame. Like psychologically, that convinces people that politics are just bad. So you have some really good people who won't get into politics because of the common quote of politics are bad, but politics are really good.
Yeah.
This administration that I work with, there's a couple on the council that I don't see eye to eye with, but I can't say that I disagree with what they're trying to do. I may not like agree with how they're trying to do it, or the process of what they're trying to do. But the good thing is everybody on this council that I'm working with, their hearts are all in it.
Good.
And it's like you can't. There's not many politicians. There's not many people that can tell me that the people that I'm working with are bad. There's not. Even some people that I ran against, I couldn't say that they're bad,
Yeah, but you
especially
know
on the
what it
local
is?
level. They're
People
not
think because
bad.
a person doesn't think like you or doesn't have the same opinion as you that they're bad. No, they're just that's them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And you don't
they
have to like their opinion. You don't have to like their, how they handle stuff, but you should respect it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Because just
yeah,
like you would want somebody to respect you for your opinions and your morals and your beliefs and all that other good stuff, you have to give out the same. You can't just expect it to be a one-way street.
absolutely. Yeah, and people don't. It takes time, but I tell people all the time now, like the war we're in now is psychological. Like I think that we fought, especially people of color, we fought to get slavery, we fought to get equal and civil rights, human rights, and I think now the fight is psychological. I think people need to get back in control of this now in
Yeah.
order to actually win. And I think until we get there, it's going to be divisive no matter who's in office as president, no matter who's in office as mayor and governor. Because the scary thing now is I was reading this article where they were saying that you can get a lifetime worth of information these days in a week. In the early 1900s up until like 2014, I think it said, um, you couldn't get information as fast as you can get it now. But the scary part about it is information you can get so fast now is not all factual information.
That's true, because you can pull up Google and you're gonna have like a million different
Yeah,
takes on a certain event.
everybody has their own website. I believe frisbee is the best sport.com. And then you got people saying frisbee is the best sport in the whole wide world. Well, why you say that? Because here's a link showing you why. It's like, oh,
Exactly.
look, my nephew made that website. Like, he's serious? Like, come on, everybody
They
knows
swear that
basketball and
everything they
soccer.
read is true. On top of that, like no, everything you read is not true. You got to do the work. So you got to figure out the facts from
Yeah,
fiction.
yeah, you have those link wars, I call them. Like if somebody believes something, they Google something, and that Google link supports what they believe, and that automatically wins. But the affirmation part is the scary part. You could post right now on Facebook when this is over. I had an interview with the mayor of Peekskill, and he called me an idiot, and you'll get 15 people to comment on it before they even watch the video.
Exactly.
I can't believe him. I knew he was like that. I told you that old bald head boy was gonna call you out. Just like they'll just go off
They'll go
before you even
viral
watch the video. And the scary part is the affirmation. You'll get like 5 likes of people who just believe what you said without even checking into anything.
at
And
all. Checking the facts.
that's the part
It
that
could have
scares
been
me the
all.
most.
I could have called you one, and they'd be like, "Oh, you know what I mean?" It's the day in the world that we live in nowadays, unfortunately.
Yeah,
It
interesting
really.
world we live in. That's the truth.
So going back to being a mayor, okay, so you first started your term, you said 2017.
Yeah.
So the mayor's term is only 2 years? I thought it was
And
more than
Peekskill is
that.
only 2 years. And in 1940s, the city of Peekskill became a city. It was a village prior to that, but we never changed the charter to a city charter. It's still kind of like a village's run in the aspect of the government. But every 2 years is mayoral term.
Oh,
Every
okay.
4 years is a council.
Okay.
So if
And
you
you
ran
was
for council, you'll get 4 years. You ran for mayor, you'll get 2 years.
okay, got you. So
Mhm.
and then last year you just that was your second term. You just won, right?
So yeah, I just got elected. So I'm serving my second term right now. Yeah, I got elected in November last year. I won the election. The first election I had, I won by like 160 something votes. It was a really close election. Um, and that was a dirty election too. Like I'm more
I
surprised
can tell with
at
that lady that you talked about. She
my first election. I was shocked at my community. It hurt. I don't really speak on it too much, but it really hurt inside to see like the stuff that people
Yes,
were saying about me, and I won by like 160 votes. I'm like, all the love that I had for my city and my people, and only 160 people actually felt I deserved to be
I
here.
learn every day your true supporters, the people that you think really have your back. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? You really find out when things hit the fan, and you're like, "Where's all the
yeah. I
people that
was
you let
like,
me? You got my
wow.
back.
I
They
like,
support
yeah,
me." You know,
yeah.
it'll
One of
be
the things,
random people you meet that support you more than the
yes.
people that you feel were loyal to you.
Yeah, and that and the one thing about that too is like the last election I won by almost 1,000 votes. So I was like, okay, so I gained some support, I gained some trust. I had to work for it,
Mm-hmm.
even harder because of how I am and how I look. So
Yep.
I had to work double time. I mean, I used to joke with my family. We used to always say, if I was a superhero, my name would be Everywhere Man because I would be everywhere in the city except home
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted to show support. I wanted to be committed to whatever meeting or committee or board I had to speak to. I wanted the community to know that I'm not just here because it's a position. Like the position doesn't make me, I'm going to make it. And whether I'm mayor or not, I'm going to be involved. So you can hate me, love me, dislike me, whatever. Nothing's going to change. When I get out of office, you'll still see me everywhere. Before I got in office, you saw me everywhere.
Exactly.
Only difference is now because of what I'm registered as a Democrat, because of even me being black in some cases now, it's like there's a line that creates somewhat of a hate or dislike, if you will.
Or a
Um,
disconnect
yeah, for
from
anything that I
people.
do.
Yeah.
Anything I do. Yeah.
So going into Democrat, why you decided? Have you always been a Democrat? Like, what made you want to be a
Yeah.
Democrat?
I was a Democrat before I knew the difference. When I remember in high school, after high school, I registered to vote. I registered, when I got my driver's license and everything. But when I registered, I think I was 19 first time I registered. 19? Was I 18? I don't know. But as soon as I registered, everybody I knew were
Is a
Democrats.
Democrat.
So I was a Democrat before I knew the difference. As I grew up, you start watching politics, you start hearing things in the news like that's how they get down. Like I'm cool. I'm rocking with the Dems all day. And you have some people who are like they're like anti everything. You know what I'm saying? And those are the people who I think sometimes they just kind of like confused or lost. Like I'm not really sure what their motive is, but I'm not a Democrat, a Republican, an independent. I'm not registered as nothing. I don't even vote. But they complain about everything
All
everybody's
the
doing.
time, but they're not part of the solution.
Yeah, yeah. Like,
Exactly.
told you politicians ain't for us. Okay, if you're not for us, won't you do something?
They
Like,
be a
won't you
part of
be
the
for us?
solution.
Because
Why don't you vote?
reminding me that they're not for us isn't actually an activist move to me.
Yeah,
That's just
yeah. And like with me, I was a Democrat too. I'm still a Democrat, but it's funny as I get older, and this is one of the questions I had asked you for the Blessings magazine, you guys, which he is going to be on the cover and
oh yeah.
in the magazine next month. Okay, getting raised reviews already on it. Um, so one of the questions I asked you, because as I grew older, and I'm still growing older, I found myself like being a hardcore Democrat, right? And like you didn't know anything about it, but everybody in my family, that's all they talked about, Democrat. I'm like, oh, all right, well, Democrat must be, for the color people, Spanish people, the poor people. That's my takes on it, the way it was growing up.
Mhm.
And I always thought Republicans were for like rich people, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
Right.
all right,
Right.
whatever. Rich white people, let's just keep it funky. So um and as growing up, I'm like, and it took me meeting a guy that I worked with for like 10 years, and he's opened me up to like, well, do you know what Republicans are about and what they do and blah blah blah. I'm like, well, I know it's like take more from the poor and give to the rich or something like that, and they're like, anti-abortion and all this other
Normal
stuff
narrative.
somewhere.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I said, other than that, I really don't know. But he said he broke down a couple things, and and I'm like, oh, well, I kind of agree with that, and I kind of agree with
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? So I
Hmm.
noticed, like, from me going to like 100% Democrat, it's like it's tipped the scale a little bit. I'm not in the 50-50. I know that much, but I would probably say like maybe 75%, 25%. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But there are some things on the Republican side that I do agree with, you know, that I feel that we do need to change. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But not as
That-
drastically as a lot of the things
yeah.
they do.
Most of that, in my opinion, that's like if you. if we can go into like police forums, or even like gangs, Bloods, Crips, at the end of the day, if they got past the territorial issues, they are all doing the same thing, and it's with Republicans and Democrats, a lot of it is to keep you in a group of people who support and believe what you believe. But there are also some things that make sense depending on what your perception is, so we've had issues in my community where we had a homeless shelter, and that didn't become a heartfelt issue. That became a political issue. It was the Democrats want to put a shelter over here and the Republicans work too hard. It wasn't a Republican or Democratic thing. It was some people saw the perception of a homeless shelter as needed in our community for homeless, and
Yeah.
some like it's needed, but not needed over here, you know. But that turned into a political thing as soon as the campaign came up. Oh, he's willing to put homeless shelters by your kids, and he wants your kids to get ate up by the homeless man, and like it just got really bad.
That's
A
so
lot of that stuff, in my opinion, especially during the campaign, is to really see. I think it gives the people running confirmation of how much support they actually have. So if I say I'm running as a Democrat, there's a pretty high percent chance that everybody who's registered as a Democrat is probably going to support me. So if I know that 35 of the 50 states are more so blue, I have a chance at winning.
hmm
That covers the eyes of people, and they no longer look at what is he really doing as a leader. What is the decisions? He's Republican, he's out of here. He's Democrat, he's out of here. And that, in my opinion, on a national level, especially, that just helps them identify what type of support they got. On local issues, it's black or white to me. Do you want to raise taxes, or do you want people to be able to live here? Do you want luxury housing, or do you want affordable housing? Do you want 100% renewable energy, going that direction, or do you not care about any renewable energy? Do you want your schools to do better, or do you not? Do you want diversity in your police department, or do you not? Like, on the local level, it's black and white. It's really black and white. And again, that division of Republican and Democrat, it can really help divide more than it'll ever help unify. And I
Well,
think
yeah, and that's why I had asked you in the magazine, like I can't remember the exact, like, how do you feel like if there wasn't a left or a right? You know what I'm saying? Would that even work? And I was actually speaking to a client of mine I just had prior to
mhm.
that, because we were talking about politics too.
Yeah, when you eliminate the groups, it forces people to work together. So look at it like when you see when you walk into a classroom and you see 23 kids ages 4 years old, they have no idea of any differences that we look at as adults. And if you just raise them to say, listen, when you get older, run for office and help make change, they'll do it.
Exactly.
Run for office as a Democrat to
I
help make,
know, and that's what I'm saying.
run
Like, it
for
would be
office as a
nice if
Republican.
people can just run and be themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
But it's also hard though, because again, it just ties you to a group. It just labels you to a group of people that actually believe in some of the same things you believe. So if me and you both believe that, I don't know, driving fast cars is cool,
it
we
is.
create a group, with a fast car group. Then of course you're gonna get, well, we don't like fast cars. We're a slow car group. So
Mhm.
now every time we're with the fast car group, to think that they fast car group can't go through the schools. They're gonna fly by. We're not gonna fly by. Like, we like fast cars.
We're
We're
gonna
not
go
gonna go
15
that
miles,
far.
17 miles max, okay?
Yeah. But again, on local level, and even on mainstream level, it's just I don't think all the Republicans disagree with some of initiatives by Barack Obama, but because they had to be loyal to that group, I think they tried to prevent him from, being successful. And that's unfortunate, because you would hope that after the campaigns are over, even my campaign locally, like when the campaign was over, when I first ran for council, and I won, that guy who ran for mayor, he was the mayor, and he won mayor, and I won council. When the campaign was over, I'm like, okay, the campaign's over. Let's go outside and talk about this. He was kind of like, yo, listen, I look, no hard feelings, man. It's just campaign. And I was so confused.
Wow.
I'm like, you just like attack my family, attack
And
my
all that.
kids, attack my
Everything.
son's mother, attack me as a person, attack my music,
And you
attack
got
my
nerve to
attitude,
say
my
no hard
character.
feelings.
And now that the campaign's over, he's like, yo, I'm going to this chamber event to speak. I want you to come with me. Let's show them that we're working together. Okay. I went. Like, I could do it, but Really? Like, it's
Yeah.
that
I'm
deep?
still gonna look at I'm still gonna give you the side eye, you know what I'm saying? But I know how to put on a front, to
Yeah.
make things
But you know what?
come together.
I had to learn. I had to learn not to take everything personal. It's not
Yeah,
always
yeah.
personal. A lot of the
You have
time,
to
it's
have
just a
tough
position.
skin.
Yeah. And so
Definitely.
I really had to learn that. And now that I look back at the campaigns, had I paid attention to what the mentors were telling me, um, I would have been probably twice as successful in my first two campaigns. But I was so new to it, and my response level wasn't as collective as it is now because I took everything personal. Like, you can't talk to me like that. I'm still a person, but
Hmm.
when you're under certain positions, you're still a person, but you're held to a higher pedestal, and
Yeah,
you
definitely.
can't do things that you want to do because you got decisions that you have to make that's going to really impact your community. And you piss one person off, that vote can change the direction of the future for the rest of
No, that
everybody's
and
life.
that's such a hard place to be in because, like I always tell people, like I could take a lot. I got patience galore, you know what I mean? But one thing I do not tolerate is disrespect to my family, or you know what I'm saying, or anything that's in jeopardy of like my businesses or anything like that, because that's my livelihood to provide for my
Mhm.
family. So
Yeah.
that's when the ugliness can come out, if
Mhm.
need be. But I give people a fair warning, like, are you sure you want to go there? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's try to bring this down a few notches so we can both, maintain our
Yeah.
civilness. But
And
it's
that's great. And that, because that's what I was saying earlier. It's like about channeling that motivation. So it's, my uncle, thank God I had a strong support system. My uncle, my brother Jamie, my cousin Jamal, my aunt Charlene, my mom, my dad, like my sisters. I went through a phase. I want to say the first year and a half of being as a council person. I went through this phase where I had to really, really buckle down to identify with who I am. Because you hear so much and they say so much that can be so disrespectful. And I had to channel that energy into, rather than me channeling my energy and being witty on Facebook or typewriter war on Facebook, just continue doing what you do.
yeah, yeah. Because
And
eventually that
I listen. I told some people, the people who hate me or who dislike me, I wouldn't be surprised if they voted for me because I give them more to talk about on a daily basis. Oh, this dumb mayor, look what he did. He didn't even get the snow out. Like, it wasn't 18 inches of snow. He didn't even get the snow picked up. He's just a dumb, un freaking everything. Yeah.
people like it
I'm
so
like,
much,
okay.
they will always find something to complain about. No matter, you could be like the most perfect mayor ever. Everything's running smooth. There's never no hiccups, no problems, or nothing. They're gonna find something.
Yeah.
You know what
One
I mean?
thing one thing I told a friend of mine, she was moderating a meeting we had last week Thursday. And some of the feedback that she was getting kind of like struck her. And I told her every opinion that you get is valuable, but not necessarily factual.
Yeah.
So you have to listen to everybody's opinion in these positions and take them with a grain of salt. Doesn't mean that everything they say is true, but it lets you know how certain people feel about you, whether they love you or hate you. Every opinion is valuable because if you love me, I want to keep doing what I'm doing to keep that love. If you hate me, I want to know why you hate me. Like, what did I do? Maybe I can fix it. If it's something I can't fix, I can't turn my skin white. I'm not going to register tomorrow as a Republican. And that's just what it is. So if it's something like that, then continue to hate me. Hate on. Like, I want you to hate me because
Basically, that's gonna put fuel
that's
on
never going to
my
change. And
fire
I'm
to
proud
do
of you.
better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but if somebody tells you that you did something that they don't like, evaluate the situation. Sometimes I look at things and say, okay, damn, you know what? I get it. If I was in his shoes or her shoes, then maybe I'd be upset too. But then I also start talking to myself like, would I have responded that way though? And that's the part that is hard for me because I look at certain situations like the response is what really, took me away from wanting to communicate with you anymore.
Yeah.
What you said about me is fine, but the way you said it, or the platform you decided to say it, or who made you say it, or what influenced you to say it, you heard something about me that isn't true, so you believed it and went off on a rampage. Like, I gotta be cautious with that.
Yeah, and it's a scary line to cross. You know what I mean?
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm still, thank God, knock on wood, I haven't had any issues. I think people get the best of me. They know. Don't go there with Jessica because she will cause a throat. No
My
problem.
mom was like that. My mom was
I'm a
like that.
new
You
person, but
better
like
leave.
I said, you
You better
come
leave.
from my family. I can
Yeah,
take
my
whatever you
mom was the same way. Yeah, you better
I
leave
can
her
take
baby
whatever you
alone.
want to take. towards me, that's fine. I'll just brush that off like it's nothing. But if you come for my
Right, right.
family or my livelihood for my family,
Absolutely.
gloves are gonna
Yeah.
come all the way off. That's just what
No
it
hesitation. Yeah, my mom is like that too.
definitely. So
Don't mess with my mama's baby.
now get into your mama, okay? You said she named you Noodle. Tell people
Yeah,
about that.
she gave me the name Noodle. I don't, you know what? I was a baby, probably 2 or 3. I don't remember what she was doing. I don't know. She changed my diaper. She was feeding me. I don't know what she was doing, but she called me her little noodle baby.
Noodle.
And my cousin heard her say that. My cousin Jamal and his friend Matt Diaz. And I love those two. They're like brothers to me. Um, but they heard it or found out about it. They're a little older than me at the time. I think that they just started calling me that every time they saw me. And I'll be honest with you, from 3 to about 12 years old, if you called me Noodle, we were outside,
Like,
hands up. Yeah, like my friend Steven jokes. We call him jokes because he's funny. He used to go in his window, look out his window on the on the second floor upstairs, scream out the window, "Hey Noodle, what up?" And I would say, "Listen, you gotta come outside. You have to come outside. Like you're going to come outside.
see my face.
I'm going to see you when you come outside." And but I never forget. I had registered late for class one year. My 8th grade year, I had came back to New York from Vegas. I registered one day late, so they woke me up to the hall monitor woke me up to the classroom, and he opened the door, and her name was Miss Janowski, my math. And he said, "Miss Janowski, this is going to be your new student in your classroom." And all of my friends that were in that classroom, they saw me come in the door, and it was like a marathon. It's crazy. At the same time, they all said, "Oh, Noodle!" And I was like, "Oh snap, that's me." And
And that's when you embraced it.
yeah, from that day forward, I was like, "Yo, I like this name. It's
That's it. It's my new government right now.
yeah, absolutely."
So going back, you had mentioned you are not only the mayor, but you also are an artist. That was what you was first, right?
Yes,
So
artists. I
tell
mean,
people
artists first, artists after.
definitely. So
You
tell
know,
people
polit-
about your music.
Yeah, so I've always been a musician. I did my first performance at my 8th grade dinner dance. That was the first time I ever performed. We all had these Old Navy lime green vests with the Gap plaid shirt under it and the Gap khaki pants with Tims, and we looked like a gangster R&B group. Like it was so cool. We had the little Chloe glasses. Like we thought we was fly. We thought we was fly. I ain't gonna lie. We thought we was fly.
I
So
need to see a picture of that. Somebody who has a picture of that, send that to me, please. ASAP. I'm
wait
gonna
till I
put
get
it
out of
in
office.
the magazine too.
But yeah, I've been writing songs since my uncle Troy. They used to call him Tricky T back in the '80s. He helped me write my cousin Alize, Terrence. They helped me write my first rhyme, and I was in 4th grade. And then when I got in 8th grade, I met my partner Cy Flo, and he taught me how to count bars. So what I used to do is I used to write like poems. I used to rap. I used to write rap songs, but they never had like choruses. Like the average verse is 16 bars.
Hmm.
Um, the average song is, what's called is 3 verses. I was writing, 40-bar verses, and my songs, every song I had written was probably about 5 and 6 minutes long.
Yeah,
And
that's way
he
too
kind of told me like, "Yo, just count the bars, chop it down, make it a real 3 minute song, 4 minute song. This 6 minute stuff is way too much." Um, and that's what really got me into it. And then I worked with a group. I started working with this group down in Florida, this multi-million-dollar record label down in Florida. We was working with them for about 2 years. We dropped from the label after an altercation happened between one of the artists and the owner. And then I came back to New York, and I just took it serious after that.
wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and I just recently put out an album called Politics and Music.
I was just gonna get there.
Yeah,
I'll do it
it's
right
just pretty
now.
interesting. It's pretty interesting.
All right. So while you tell everybody who's listening on the radio, I'm gonna tag your music to this live that we're doing on Facebook as well. So let people know.
Oh, okay, good. Tag me in it too. I couldn't see the live on my
I
phone,
did
but
tag you on it afterwards, but I'm gonna
okay,
put
good,
it in the
good.
comments as well.
All right, so but yeah, the Politics Music album just came out on my mother's birthday, September 26th.
Ah, 20 what?
Yeah, September 26th.
That's my birthday. Cut it out. She's
You
like,
serious?
I am so serious. September
Oh,
26th,
that's crazy.
1997. I am a whole
Yeah,
Libra.
September 26th. That's my mother's birthday. That's crazy. What a coincidence.
Building Tell her I said happy belated birthday.
Yeah, that's crazy. What a coincidence that is. But
Isn't
yeah,
that insane? Definitely. So where can they find your music? I have it here, but I'm gonna put it in.
all right, good. So you can find it everywhere. It's on iTunes, Tidal, Spotify. We got about 30, almost 30,000 streams on Spotify since September.
Oh,
It's
nice.
doing really well on Spotify. Yeah, Amazon Music, KK Box. It's every platform you can think of. Pandora. Anywhere you can find music, you can just
So
about find that.
it's obvious what inspired you to write this album, politics and music, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, what can people hear from it? Like, what kind of are you going down deep and
So
deep
there's
into the
there's
politics? Like really,
I'm
really?
scratching this. I scratched the surface on this one. I kind of put it out there to see what the response would be. I scratched the surface. There's like a song called Hope that I got with Styles P from the Locks, and it's
Okay.
yeah, and it's just like just talking about like believing in yourself first, and then the rest of the world will follow suit. But you can't expect to change the world if you can't change your mind. And like I said it earlier in this interview, like psychologically, that's where we need to focus our energy on now. Is how do we make sure that our minds are right? Because you can be manipulated, you can be hurt. Anything can hurt anybody now. A Facebook, a young lady said at this rally we held probably 3 years ago. I held a vigil after the shooting in Orlando. I held a vigil here in Peekskill, and one of the young girls from the high school Terrytown, he was like, bullying is not what it used to be. Bullying is not pushing somebody up against the locker and taking their lunch money. Bullying now is telling a group of your friends to unfollow somebody on Instagram. Bullying now is to not like that person's post on Facebook. So, you know, when people can trigger you so easily, I think you need to really control your mind. Like I see people who disagree with me. There's one lady that she's been like, I don't know, I guess she doesn't like me anymore. But every time we're talking, whenever like on a Zoom conference, she's doing all of this. Like,
That's annoying.
and now me, I'm like, does anybody else see this? Like, is anybody else watching what's going on? Because
I was
something
gonna
is
pull her card right there. I'm like, are you okay? Are you,
like, but yeah, I don't say nothing. And
you
she go
having a
whenever
seizure? Because you're just jerking all over the place. Like, what's going?
whenever
911, come and get her.
yeah, whenever we're on the Zoom conference, she always points me out, or she'll always say something about me. She'll say I'm not listening to her or whatever. But I'm just like, if you can get that upset over nothing that's happening, then there's something wrong. But not necessarily nothing wrong with her, but that's the way people are becoming now because it's so easy to trigger people with social media that people create anger and you know animosity towards something that somebody wrote on a post. Like 20 years ago, the way I felt would never affect anybody I know
Yeah,
because I didn't just post it on Facebook for everybody I know to see it.
exactly.
Now you can really change the energy of an entire community with one unnecessary post, and it's
That
scary.
is so, and people don't realize the power of words because now, because of the internet, it can reach millions and millions of
Yeah,
people. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And they easily have access to it, and it can change their mentality. It can change their feelings. It can, hurt people's
a lot.
feelings.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and
And it can be very devastating. I mean, there's tons of suicide people. Suicides that happen
absolutely,
all the
exactly,
time
right, exactly.
because God bless them, of the bullying, cyberspace bullying. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? And it's just
yeah.
so sad, and people need to really think twice before they let the Twitter fingers, whatever
Mm-hmm.
they call it, hit the keyboard or the phone because once you put it out there, it's like a miracle if you can get it back in time. You know what I'm saying? Somebody
Yeah,
already took a screenshot of it.
exactly. So
Somebody already got shared it. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
now what they
and
call
that's
no
yeah,
más.
yeah, and that's one of the main reasons why I had to get back into the studio. Music for me, like some people take drugs, some people exercise, some people, read books. Like music for me is my therapy. So I tell people like I didn't stop making music. I just stopped putting it out. Don't think that I haven't recorded or wrote a song in the past 3 years because I've been elected official 5 years since I've been a council mayor. I just stopped putting it out. But the stuff that I was writing and recording, it kind of hit us in the studio. Like, yo, this is different. This is a different you. I'm like, well, listen, let's keep going. And we ended up putting a full project together. We had one song in there called Unite the States. And it just talks about what me and you were talking about the early part of this conversation, just like why are we so divided? And it's like we can never say that we're looking for peace when we can never get along. It's just
Exactly.
like I think people are so confused. Like I'm putting how I feel out there and I know I'm right. And then at the same time say, you know what, that party of those people, they'll never be like us and this and that. Just by that post alone, you just divided us even more. And
That quick.
that's why I get scared of the newer activists because they're so passionate about what they believe that if you disagree with them,
You're
you're not
completely.
disagreeing with them, you're disagreeing with saving humanity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, dang, I don't think that makes sense. Oh, okay, so you're not for the people no more. No, I'm for the people, but that doesn't make sense. Oh my God, he's attacking me. What? Like you literally attacked me 2 posts ago. I'm just responding to you, telling you how I feel, and that's
Exactly. Like you have your right to your opinion. This is my right to my opinion. So let's just agree to disagree with each other's opinions and
mhm.
keep it, keep it cordial, keep it friendly, and maybe we can find a happy middle place in the middle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Hey, listen, you can't take the heat, get out the kitchen.
yeah, pretty get all the way out because you're gonna get burnt ASAP.
Because you got a lot of chefs in the kitchen, but if you critique their food, they go crazy. And
Yeah.
that's just the way it is nowadays. It's so hard to get somebody upset with your opinion. And the most people talking about, and this is on a local level especially, the most people that are out there commenting on what I do on a daily basis are the ones who couldn't take one thing if I said about them.
Yeah.
If I was to just say one thing about them, they would,
They would
I mean,
break.
it would destroy their week. Oh
Like
my God, he's attacking me. He wants to kill me. He told me that my feet are gonna fall off. Like it'll just go way beyond what I said, but they'll critique me on a daily basis.
yeah.
But you
And
gotta
it's
live with
sad.
it.
You like you said, you got to just learn to brush that off. If it ain't
Yeah,
doing anything, the only thing it's gonna do is motivate you more to be more, greater.
absolutely.
Give them more reason to complain about not liking you.
There you go.
That's all it's gonna do. Like whatever. I always say, suck it up, Buttercup. I don't know what to tell you. Like,
Hey, listen, you don't gotta like me. I still love you.
thank you. Exactly. Okay,
Uh,
so what do you have plans for the future, hun? Your
no,
2 years will be up. What, 2022 or 20?
no, yeah. So I got 2022. Yeah, that'll be it for this term. So there's a lot of pressure on me. I've been over some opportunities. I haven't fully decided exactly where I want to go just yet. I'm right now. I'm trying to weigh out my pros and cons. I will say that this political world kind of forced me to mature extremely fast, and it's no longer now just about what I want to do. Now I have children to feed now, so it's I spend a lot of time um, you know, being a mayor, trying to save my community, and I really want to make sure that I'm weighing out the pros and cons because, I have a family that I need to be there for just as much, you
And
know,
that's
and
important.
if
Balance between the
yeah,
both.
and if I can't financially provide for them and I can't spend time with them, then there's an issue there, in my opinion. So I have some opportunities coming down the line, and if these opportunities are what I see them being, then I'm definitely in for another. Definitely going to run for another term. I do see myself going higher in politics. Period. I just can't reveal yet. I've been motivated by some higher placed people
Yeah.
to consider doing it for a longer time. And having these type of people in my ear, I don't want to say names, but having these people in my ear to encourage me to do that as a young man from Peekskill, New York, it's more motivating than anything in this world.
Yeah, definitely. Because you are the youngest mayor elected in Peekskill, correct? And you are the second African American, right?
Second African
So you're
American, yep.
setting history alone right there. So imagine the history you can set for the
Yeah.
rest of the world. That's
And
amazing.
that's the motivation. And that's why in saying, the stuff that people say that the hate that people deliver, that's the main reason why I can't let it bother me. And also because my cousin Jamal called me and tell me stop letting it bother you, boy. But other than that, like I can't. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yo, I'm like, yo, Jamal, they just said this on Facebook, man. You see this? Yo, are you
If you don't put
serious,
that
yo?
phone down right now.
Yo, you call me about Facebook, yo? But you know what? My uncle said it best though. He said, listen, you're upset about a Facebook post. 80 years ago, it wasn't a Facebook post. It was a canine. It was a water hose.
Oh
It was
my
it,
gosh, I
it
know
was it was it was a rope tied to a tree.
exactly.
Like all you got to do. I mean, people who wanted to make decisions for the people literally had to sacrifice their lives. All you got to do is sign off on Facebook.
Yeah,
Are
that's
you
it.
serious?
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? You shouldn't
So,
put it like that because now I feel dumb. The fact that I even read this stuff now, I feel like, Dad, really?
yeah. Like all I gotta do is just, swipe to the left or,
Yeah, scroll
ignore.
up,
That's it. I don't want to see that on my notification.
yeah,
Delete,
unfriend, block. Like I don't have to. Like I can literally, I can avoid it. You know,
unfollow, all of that.
and
Exactly.
still accomplish. So
And still give them more reason to keep talking.
there you
Like
go.
my brother said, if they ain't talking about you, you're not doing something right.
Very true.
So
Boy, I must be doing a lot of right.
thank you.
I must be doing a
Keep
lot
your
of right.
money in their mouths. Give them something to talk about, honey. Definitely. So tell the viewers and listeners about your New Moves Foundation.
Yeah, so New Moves Entertainment. When I first started doing fish fry fundraisers, and we used to do these little fundraisers to create a studio program to allow kids, to learn how to engineer, mix and master in the studio, and write their own songs and produce and everything. So I started doing like little events in the community, fundraisers, kickball games,
My God. I remember that.
dodgeball tournaments, a little bit of everything. And I also DJ. I'm like I said, I love music, so I created New Moves Entertainment in 2010, and I just used that as my platform to promote entertaining. And it was just quality entertainment business. We don't wait for opportunity; we create it, and that's
Thank you.
that's
That's how you got to do it.
yeah. The matter of fact, the 31st is my 10 years of owning this business.
Yay.
Yeah,
Congratulations and
2010.
happy anniversary.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Definitely. So, with everything coming to terms, and now that you've been the office, in the mayor's office for about what, 3 years already?
Hmm.
What would you say has been your biggest struggle?
Uh, the biggest struggle is trying to capture information before it gets circulated when it's not true, and on a local level, that could be detrimental to your success. You know what I'm saying? So we had an incident where for example, there was a shooting threat in Mount Kisco High School last year. Or Terry, was it Mount Kisco? I think it was Mount Kisco High School last year, and we had something similar in Peekskill. So the conversation of having a rescue truck was vital, in which we actually already have a rescue truck. It's just hidden so nobody can see it. It's this big white truck, and it's made simply for when there's a big flood. If somebody's stuck in their car and they call us, this truck can get through certain levels of water floods. And climate change people would support that in a minute. Environmental justice activists support that in a minute. And the other situation is if there happens to be a shooting on top of City Hall or on top of a school, on top of a building, like this will be the only truck that can actually drive up to where people who have been shot, put them in the actual truck and get them to some sort of medical attention quick enough to survive. You know, and we discussed that in like September of last year, and we were going to get it. It was a grant that was going to fund it and everything. And then when 2020 hit, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Black Lives Matter, and then somebody put on Facebook that the city mayor and council was going to militarize our police department by buying this uh, rescue truck, and they put like a military colored truck on Facebook, and you talk about 600 comments, likes,
Oh my
shares,
gosh.
and it's like, dang. So now everybody in the community is like, you better not get that truck. Don't get that tank. And it's like, that's not even the color of the truck, let alone
It's like we
the
already
look of
have
it.
it. What do you
Yeah, it's like, but now, so that
for
that
that?
that that false information just pushed people to come towards the council, and the entire council went against supporting the actual truck. So now, God forbid, we ever do get a shooting or we ever do get a flood, and an 80-year-old woman is stuck. Um, you're gonna see a rescue truck no matter what. It's just
Yeah.
not gonna be from Peekskill. It's gonna be from Westchester
Oh
County.
wow.
Because
So that's
if
your
there's a shooting, no matter what, if there's a shooting, a rescue truck is coming.
yeah.
Only difference is now we just have no control over it.
And you just have to wait longer for it. And that's
Yeah,
so
that's
sad.
that's the only difference of us having a rescue truck and the rescue truck that we have to rely on now comes from Westchester County. So there's a shooting at the school, and if it's identified to be a legit shooting, they're going to bring that rescue truck up here in case they need to, retrieve bodies.
That's
Bottom line,
sad.
but because the way it was put out there, it was like Black Lives Matter and militarizing police, and like the whole narrative just turned people off of this.
Wow.
And even the picture, like even if I was an elected official, if I saw that picture first, I probably would have reacted the same way. Like, you
But you
can't
were
get nothing
thinking
out
like
of
the
Trump.
military was gonna come in.
Yeah. But it was just, I couldn't get out there fast enough. And I
Wow.
don't know when that conversation is ever going to come up again,
Well,
and it's,
that just
yeah,
shows
and
everything. That's so sad.
it is sad. It's very unfortunate, but there's so many situations like that where, you know, if you can't get to the information first. There was information about me one year, last summer. Some lady, her name was Bronx Mama on Facebook. She put in one of the Facebook groups, what kind of mayor gets caught in Yorktown driving, smoking weed. He got pulled over for smoking weed. Then the cops arrested him because he didn't pay child support. And then when he got to the jailhouse, or to the precinct, they realized he was the mayor, so they let him go.
Wow.
Now, legally, I can't even sue her because she didn't say my name. So if I would have took her to court, she could have been saying, it was a joke about a mayor in Tennessee, or it was just a joke. It wasn't real. Like, she never said my name. But regardless of her saying my name or not, people assumed they knew who she was talking about. And it went, "Man, are you okay?" Like, one of my closest friends' mother works at the police precinct that she was talking about. And she calls me like, "You were arrested because I don't have your records on file here." And then she's like the sergeant or something, or the captain. I'm like, "No, I didn't get arrested. That's his Facebook." She's like, "I didn't think so." I was about to say, who the hell? And then the other thing is, I don't smoke weed. So I haven't smoked weed since I was in college. That was 2004, like, literally. So my thing is, people are like, "You need to put out a statement." I don't got to put out a damn thing. Like, if y'all believe that I smoke weed, got pulled over, ain't paying child support, ain't got arrested, you're bad. Like, I'm not defending every single thing that I hear about myself, because if you know me, you should know a little better.
Exactly. Like,
Some
if
people
you're
look at that.
entertaining one thing, then they're gonna expect you to entertain everything else that's said about
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not. There are, and the crazy thing is, you'll see like about 292 comments, and then you'll see like 2 comments of somebody saying, "Does he smoke?" You'll see another, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's only, out of all 300 comments, only 2 people thought to ask. I don't know if that's real. You know what I mean? And that's like I said, psychologically, it scares me, because you can do that. And the lady's name was Bronx Mama. She wasn't even identified as a resident from here.
Wow.
So somebody can create a Facebook page from
Wherever.
Bronx, New York,
Exactly.
posted one of our groups, and the crazy thing about it, that bugged me the most, was she put that post in there and didn't respond to one comment. It was like she was purposely put there to riffle the waters. And
That's what it was. It was like a planned sneak attack for you.
yeah,
Like,
and
and
it's
it's
like I
probably
said,
an opposing member of somewhere or whoever,
yeah,
another
exactly.
hater. I'm
And
gonna
that's why,
create this catfish profile, and I'm gonna make these random lies about him
yeah,
because I don't like him.
and that's why I said I'm a little nervous, because even the people that knew that she was lying, that support me, they were kind of attacking her, like, "Who the hell are you, you dummy?" This and that. It's like, don't even entertain it,
Yeah,
because that just created so much division in our community for about 3 weeks.
and that's
You
crazy.
know, yeah,
Where's
and
the
that,
rule? Like, if it don't apply, let it fly. Like, just let it go.
yeah,
Ignore
and
it.
it, like I said, it's scary, because you can get so much information now, and it doesn't even have to be real, but it circulates so fast, and people just, if they don't start controlling this, and it's going to be a long time. When I speak to the younger generation, the adults, I tell them, like, when you get into the world, have your own mind and know who you are first, because you know everything that you say is not always going to be right.
Yeah.
But if somebody disagrees with you, don't take it as if they're disagreeing with you because they just think that you're dumb and they're not for the people. They may have a different perception of things. Try to understand people's perception so you can understand how to deal with people, and then I think things will change. But right now,
We got a
it's
long way
gonna
to
be a
go.
long road. It's gonna be a long
Yeah.
road.
We really do. And it's unfortunate because people jump the gun and definitely jump to conclusion after reading one thing. You know what I'm saying? Instead of doing the work and finding out what's the facts and what's the fiction, and coming to a logical conclusion instead of just being taking somebody who's randoms, you know,
Yeah. So
voice out there. That's
so we gotta just prepare ourselves and make sure the next generation knows. Listen, you have the power. The class of 2020, I think, is this generation, this year's class, college, high school, whatever. They're gonna be some of the strongest people that this world will ever see because of everything that they've gone through this year.
listen, if
Once they
they
survive this,
They
Yeah, I
listened
mean,
to Trump and COVID.
yeah, yeah,
We
yeah. I
building
mean,
soldiers.
racial injustice, protesting,
Exactly.
president, crazy leadership. Like they've seen everything this year.
Everything hit.
And they're just stepping out into the real world. So by the time they're 25, 30, they're gonna be really, really ready to change the world.
And I hope so. I hope, what I tell people, if anything, you know, um, what Trump has done to us, I really hope and pray that what I feel like the ending of it or whatever, it's like his plan was to divide us, but in some weird way, God's way, obviously, it kind of united us more. You know what I mean?
Yeah. In
And
a
I mean,
sense, yeah.
to get so many people out this year to actually vote an incumbent out of office
Yeah.
alone,
That was huge. That was
rare.
history.
You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? So that's what I'm like, thank you God, thank, because I was really scared. I'm like, that's rare for an incumbent to get vote. I think the last one was I don't even remember who, but Bush or something, I want to say. The first Bush
Mm-hmm.
or second Bush. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But anyway, um, but I'm like, his plan was to divide, you know what I mean? But I'm praying in the end that it just really unites us all. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And
The only way that we'll be successful as a nation is if we can find a way to appreciate everything that we, all of our differences in certain aspects. And it's become a personal battle rather than a personal belief. And if I don't believe what you believe, I'm automatically attacking you, and that's just
yeah, and
not
that's
the
fine.
case. Yeah, it's just not the case. But like I said, they say politics are dirty. Politics are not dirty. Politics are good. Politics are great. It's the people.
Yep. And
People.
that's why it's so important to go out and vote for the right people. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And if you don't feel like there is a right person, help create the right person or be the right person.
Yep.
I tell
Move the
people
right
when
person.
we were in the 50s and 60s protesting, we had to protest against people who didn't know what it felt to be like us, who didn't look like us. We couldn't play sports. Like we had to protest because the people who were making the decisions weren't us. Now, not only are we protesting to people who are listening, but we can be the people that are in there making these decisions. You know,
Exactly.
and
And that's where we need to get more people in office. That's why, well, like when I went to your birthday party last year, I'm like, I can't believe, and I felt like I was like like a stardom. Like I don't even know. Like it was like I can't believe I'm in a mayor's party and he's playing like Jay-Z, Nas. I'm like, this
yeah,
man,
yeah. Oh, yo,
yeah. No,
listen,
I was Facebook Live like
I'm
this.
gonna tell you
Oh my
something
God,
funny.
let me
Listen,
see
when I first got elected as council, somebody put that on Facebook, like, "Yo, this guy's listening to Biggie Smalls, like
Yeah,
he's
like
gonna run our city."
give me one more chance. I'm like, where am
Yeah.
I? I'm
So
in a
I put a video on my Instagram. I gotta find it, and I forgot how the song was. The song's called "Let It Be." And I was like, the people said that I'm listening to Biggie Smalls and I'm running this city, and I'm wrong. So I'm gonna play this song for you guys instead. And it was like, let it go. Won't you be you and I'll be me.
exactly. And I'm like, yo, this is life right now. I said, if this shows anybody anything, it's like you really and truly can accomplish anything you put your mind to. You know what I mean? Like I
You
said, going
have to
back to
be able
the
to put
youngest,
your mind to it. I
yep,
mean, there's people think that if I just say I'm gonna be successful, it's gonna happen. Like you gotta like convince your mind that I deserve to be successful.
yep,
When I ran for council, my mentality wasn't I deserve to be elected official. My mentality was I'm gonna shut these people down because they're ridiculously annoying and they're wrong. Like one way or another, I want to put a dent in them because of what they did, what they tried to do to me, a little threatening thing. And once I got in office, I realized some of the things like the Boys and Girls Club is coming to Peekskill now. Like when I found out that I can make that happen, I said I gotta. I didn't even want to run for reelection. You know, but we would start talking about the Boys and Girls Club and things like that. I was like, damn, like if I'm not here, there's a chance that this might slip through the cracks. I gotta go. Like I gotta go. But a lot of people who know me personally or closely would tell you, like I didn't run. I didn't even want to run for reelection. I was like, I don't want to do this. These people are getting on my nerves, and my family's getting affected, and that's what hurts. Like
yeah,
for me, it's fun, but my family getting impacted by it. That's when it kind of hurt. But there's certain things that I feel like I need to be here to get done, whether I like it or not. I need to be here to
You
make
gotta
sure
look,
this.
continue looking at the bigger picture. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
you're
Because you
affecting
can get
so
lost. You can get lost in the little comments
yeah,
and
and you could be
opinions.
like,
You can
"Where's
get lost.
Waldo? Where's Waldo in the big picture?"
Yeah.
But you will be found, and that's the
There
prize.
you
Like
go. All
Waldo's
right.
right in the
And
midst of it,
yeah,
and he's making it all happen. And that's what you're doing.
yeah.
You're giving a whole bunch of people inspiration. Like I literally was inspired. I'm like I said, wait, I'm in the mayor's birthday. He's playing Biggie, Jay-Z, Nas, like all the bangers from
Shout
my
out to DJ Flatline.
old school music that you guys hear me play on Blessings Radio. Like I bring it back to the old school. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks.
All
Yes.
the way back. And I'm like, yo, this is really what's up. I'm like, okay. But it inspired me. I'm like, oh my gosh, like if we need more of that, you know what I mean? We need
Oh,
more people in the offices that we can literally relate to, because I think whereas coming from me as a minority woman myself, and to the question I asked you for the magazine interview, a lot of minorities have no faith in politicians. You know what I mean? They all
yeah.
think, like you said, they're crooks, they're all whatever. Oh, you do. That's right, hon. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but that's a good
But
point,
you
because that's what I was
give it
saying
a
earlier. Like,
sense of faith.
people think that politics are bad. It's not. It's the people. But instead of saying that's politics, change it. Like, I've never been one. There's a guy in my community who I think is just, in my personal opinion, just ignorant, because he's one of those people. He posts about how bad every politician is, and most of the people that he's posting about are all black. He does. He's just all this. Al Sharpton ain't this. Barack Obama wasn't that. Andre Rainey ain't this. Mayor Mount Vernon wasn't that. He's just pointing out all of the bad things, and I tell him, listen, I've never, I was never taught to see something wrong and point at it so everybody else can see it. That doesn't make me feel like I'm an activist. If
It
I see that the mayor is trying to get rid of the youth borough, and I go on Facebook and say, hey, everybody, the mayor's getting rid of the youth borough. You guys are all aware now. I did my part. No.
No, you got to go
How
up
can I
to the
stop that
mayor.
from happening? That's to
Exactly. I
me.
got to go up to the mayor and make it not happen. Like that's
Yeah, and if he's not going to listen to it, how can I get in a position to make it happen? You got to run for mayor, Andre. I do. Damn. All right, let's go. Like,
Mhm.
to me, I've always, there's a fight over there. No, listen, who can I call to stop this from happening? Like, it's not just pointing out everything that's wrong and thinking that you're being an activist. Do something. In the 60s that worked because we had no choice. We had to point out what was wrong to get the people to get together because we weren't in position to make choices. Now they did that in the 50s and 60s, so you can be there today. The activist movement shouldn't still be what worked 80 years ago. Because
Mhm.
they worked 80 years ago for it to be different today. And conveying that message, people take it as an insult. So you're saying about the protest? I didn't say nothing like that. The word protest didn't just come out of my mouth. What
They're
I
gonna
did
hear what
say
they
though,
want to hear. That's the sad part
yeah,
about it.
yeah, I didn't say nothing about that. What I did say is we can put ourselves in position now. Let's make
Yes,
that our new protest. Let's make being
yes.
a district attorney as cool as being an NBA star. Let's make being a
Amen.
judge or chief of police as cool as being a local rapper. You know
Yes,
what I'm saying? Like, but it's here.
preach.
It's
No, it,
already
it, it
here.
does start with here, but we need
Yeah,
more people like you. And I know you have to go, so I just want to say thank you so much. We need more people like you to install these into our youth. You know what I mean? These
absolutely.
these amazing abilities that we can do on our own if we change our mindset, because that's where it
Right.
begins. If you think and you
Absolutely.
believe that you can, you will. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Um, you're doing
So
an awesome job, Mayor Rainey. Look, Mayor.
thank you very much. Jess, I appreciate you having me on the show. I really, really do.
Thank you so much for joining us. And everybody listening and watching, make sure to cop Blessings Magazine. Like I said, he is our first cover of the year. And
Yeah.
it's an amazing interview on there as well. And there you can have, I commented everywhere where you can be reached at, hon. So if your thing starts blowing up, I
Yeah,
apologize.
yeah. Absolutely. The more the merrier. I love connecting with the people. I love connecting with the
Apologize in
people.
advance. If you start getting people slide in your DMs, it's not my fault. I am so sorry. But you have an awesome night. Thank you. It was an honor. I can't
Thank
wait
you
to
so
do
much.
this again next time. Hopefully your
Yeah.
next election or your next birthday party. Don't forget to invite me.
Oh, you already got it. You already know. So, but listen, God bless you. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and everything else that you may celebrate. And I wish you nothing but success.
Thank you. And same to you. Tell your mom happy belated birthday for her fellow twin, September
You got
26th
it.
birthday.
Peace and love, sister.
Thank you. Have a good one. Thank you.